Welcome, everybody, to our special edition, Vancouver Canucks Hockey Edition on B&B Hockey Talk. I'm Aaron Bloxall with my co-host, Mr. Matt Boeser. NHL season starting tonight. Hockey, the real hockey, is finally back. All gets going actually right now as it's just at 4 o'clock, just after 4 o'clock. By the time we're recording this, the Leafs and the Ottawa Senators are about to start, but we're here to talk about the Vancouver Canucks on our special weekly Vancouver Canucks edition. Matt, Canucks start. They open tonight in Edmonton against the Edmonton Oilers. Where do you see this team finishing this year? I know we just talked about on our last episode, we talked about kind of our predictions as to where teams are going to fall. I predicted that they might make the playoffs. I kind of see them as kind of the 8th, 9th, 10th team in the conference, but do you see them what do they have to do to make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, so I see them battling for a wild card spot, but I don't see them making the playoffs. I believe I put them in 10th or 11th place, somewhere in there. But if they do get the last wild card spot, I won't be surprised. But the biggest thing is going to be depth and health, especially the bottom six. I think the top six, as long as everybody stays healthy, that's the big thing. We should be all right. But the bottom six has been a big troublesome over the years, especially getting scoring out of those guys. And then from the defense as well, getting some offensive production. Getting Quinn Hughes for a full season and Tyler Myers will be a big improvement. And then just the defensive play in front of Markstrom and Demko as well, because there were many nights last year where Markstrom was standing on his head because there was just so many point blank chances. So if they can limit that and get some scoring depth and some health, because every year we know there are the same people that we know are going to get hurt every year, and then you're just sort of waiting. But
this might be the year that they don't.
Yeah. Right now to start the season, we only have 2 guys hurt, and one's Antoine Roussel, who's still recovering from the ACL tear, and he's expected back early December. And then Tyler Mott's out for at least 2 weeks with an upper body injury. So nothing too major. Though I would like to see Roussel back in the lineup sooner rather than later, because I love that guy.
I'd like to see I want to see what the third and the fourth lines look like when he comes back. Definitely adds a little bit of speed, some grit, and some real nasty peskiness. Tonight, they have to figure out a way to stop, obviously, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I don't see Edmonton placing higher than the Canucks in the standings this year. Obviously, any game, anything can happen. Canucks, their starting lineup tonight, I think everybody predicted what their top 2 lines would be out of camp. We got Ferland with Pettersson and Boeser, and then, of course, we got Pearson with Horvat and Miller. You mentioned the bottom 6, and with Mott out, Barchi being sent down to Utica. What are your thoughts on the bottom 6 tonight?
Yeah, so I got my reservations because I'm a big Barchi fan, especially with a team that, well, we haven't exactly been ripping it up for goal scoring over the past few years.
Well, before you say anything more on that, TSN was predicting today that Pettersson might hit 100 points this year and be a potential candidate for the Hart Trophy. Do you see that much increased scoring from this team? And if so, I know we'll get back to the bottom 6, but why don't you touch on both those, the bottom 6 and potential increase in scoring?
Yeah. So for Pettersson, I'm expecting around a point a game season. I think his conditioning's a lot better because, as we saw towards the end of last season, his production sort of tailed off a little bit. But now after playing that first NHL season, he knows what to expect. And we saw some of the photos of him before training.
Captain America.
Oh yeah. So everything looks good on that front. And the big thing is just him staying healthy, because he had the couple of the concussion and that leg injury suffered in Montreal as well. So as long as he stays healthy, I got him around 80 points, 80, 90 points, somewhere in there.
I think last year, without his injuries, he was on pace for an 85-point season. So,
and then
I think 100 points isn't out of the question if he's improved even a little bit and he's figured out a way to get more points this year.
And the big thing for him is to shoot the puck a little more too, because I think his shooting percentage last year was like super high. It was really close to like 20%, which it's tough to replicate that every single season. But the more you shoot the puck, the more you're going to score. And then going back to, into the bottom six there, just one thing I want to brought up because there was an article earlier last month, I believe, posted on The Athletic by Harman Dial. He did a chart on goals per 60 when the top two centers aren't on the ice at 5-on-5, and the Canucks ranked dead last when Horvat and Pettersson weren't on the ice. So that's something that when I see a guy like Sven Baertschi get sent down to the minors, that's why I got that concern, because when you got the way their bottom six is today, Eriksson, Sutter, Virtanen, Schaller, Beagle, and Levo, there isn't a whole lot there. Like Levo I think is good. Virtanen, well, he had a poor preseason and training camp, so like he does have that potential, but going into the season there isn't a whole lot. Sutter, he has his ups and downs, but I'm not a big Sutter fan, but like especially last year he played really poor, but with him being healthy, I'm hoping he can have a bit of a bounce back season. But he's more of a goal scorer, and he's not really a setup guy. Yeah. So like what I wanted to see, like I really would have liked a Levo, Sutter, Baertschi third line, because Baertschi's more of a playmaker, because Sutter is more of a shooter, and Levo he sort of goes into the top areas and gets his shots off. So yeah, it's gonna be a difficult sell on this bottom six right now. But like watch when you get like Roussel, and I'm guessing Baertschi will be up sooner rather than later.
And that falls to Travis Green as to how he wants to construct his lineup as well. I mean, I don't see Sutter as a goal scorer on this team. I really see him being used as a face-off guy and a shutdown guy for Travis Green. I'm surprised Jake Virtanen's not on that line tonight because of his speed. But, you know, I really see Sutter. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, Sutter and Dorsett started the season against McDavid and did a heck of a job shutting him down. So I can see Sutter being that guy again this year, where they're not relying really on him to score. It'd be nice if he chipped in a little bit more than he has. But he does do a good job when healthy about, you know, shutting down the other team's top line to help get them away from Horvat and Pettersson. But then you start seeing Sutter playing 22, 23 minutes a night, and Pettersson and Horvat playing 14 minutes a night. So it'll be interesting to see how he balances that out throughout the season. Speaking of guys that play 23, 24 minutes a night, Alex Edler on the top power play unit, Quinn Hughes, Tyler Myers on the second power play unit. What do you like about this defense going into this year compared to last year?
Yeah, so I think the best thing is that it's a pretty mobile defense.
I thought your number one thing would be no Eric Goodbranson.
Oh yeah, Eric Goodbranson
or Michael Delzato, like,
or Derek Pouliot, or Ben Hunt's gone. So I think the best thing is here it's addition by subtraction heading into this season. I think that's been the best way to word it.
That's basically 4 starters from last year that are not here this year.
Yeah, so I think the best way with adding Ben, Hughes, and Myers to this lineup is that I'm hoping they can balance out the minutes a lot more easier to make things, especially on Edler and Tanev. That's a big thing because they always get hurt every single season. And I'll bring that up a lot over this show, but if they can limit that, because the top pairing they're going with Edler and Myers. Edler, he logs those heavy minutes and he'll do that. I still think they can peel back a little bit on the PK and power play time with some of the other guys that they have in the lineup to help ease off that burden. And Myers, I still got my red flags about him just from stuff I read up on him. Biggest thing to watch out for is that as much as he's giving offensively, he's giving just as much up defensively. And as I've seen in some instances during the preseason, especially the game in Abbotsford during the first goal, he was behind the net, and the guy just quickly just came out muscled him and then fired it out into the slot, and it was in the back of the net and stuff. So, but there was some other stuff because of the game in Arizona. He did play a little bit more physical. He had a huge hit on Barrett Hayton in the corner there, but he also had some defensive lapses on the power play that led to a goal as well. So that's something that I want to keep an eye on is his defensive play. But overall, he's a good mobile defenseman. At least offensively, he'll be able to push the puck. And then Quinn Hughes is Quinn Hughes. he's going to do his thing. Of course, like defensively, there might be some issues here and there, but you let him do his thing. You let him join the rush. You let him do all that. And pairing him with a guy like Tanev is just perfect because it's that steady stay-at-home guy that's going to block a ton of shots and be that safety net. And then the bottom pairing, I really like Jordy Ben and Troy Stecher. Stecher, I'd still rather see him paired with Edler over Myers, but I think last year, especially as the season went along and all the injuries happened, he got moved up with Edler last year and was really solid in his own end. And Jordy Ben, I think he's just like that safe guy that can play on the PK, block a lot of shots. And also during injuries, he can play both the left and right side as a left-hand shot, which will really help as well as the season goes along.
And the nice thing about this defense being healthy and stuff too is throughout the year, if there's a lot of games close together, they're able to monitor guys' ice time. Like I can see Edler playing 23, 24 minutes in one game, and then somebody like Myers or Hughes or Tanev or Stecher doing the same thing the next game. So it's something that they did last year where you saw Ben Hutton creep up to the 24, 25-minute mark when they were unhealthy. But now that they're healthy and it's a long season, I can see them, changing some of the ice time around depending on who they're playing and what the matchups are. Before we get into some rapid-fire questions here, a couple of fun things I wanted to bring up. First was on the Canucks captaincy. They've said they're not going to announce a captain now until opening night next week. They announced their 4 associate captains, not assistant. Of course, Bo Horvat, Brandon Sutter. I don't know why I call him Brent. Chris Tanev. And
Alex Edler.
So all 4 of those guys will be wearing A's. We all know it'll probably be Bo Horvat on Wednesday night being announced. But Canucks post a nice picture of former captains. And Strombone one, for those of you that don't know who that is, Roberto Luongo, had an absolute hilarious tweet about it, editing himself in the photo. Because, of course, he was the captain for the Canucks for 2 seasons. In between Naslund and Henrik Sedin. So what are your thoughts on that? And then also, did you also see on Bar Down on TSN, the Stranger Thing haircuts on Elias Pettersson?
Oh, that one I haven't seen. I saw
look at that, because they have Austin Matthews, Sidney Crosby, Mitch Marner. I really think Connor McDavid has the best Stranger Things haircut. Actually, Austin Matthews is pretty good too. But have a look at those. They're pretty funny, of course, on tsn.ca. But Pettersson was kind of, it's out there. Definitely have a look at that. But comment on the Strombone one tweet.
Okay, yeah. Well, I remember with the pictures that they did like those 80s versions or whatever.
Yes, so it's similar to that, but with Stranger Things haircuts.
Okay, yeah. For the Luongo tweet, it was absolutely hilarious because I can't remember who was on the picture. Yeah, it was Henrik Sedin, Marcus Naslund, Trevor Linden, Stan Smeal, and I forget.
Orline Kurtenbach's the other one.
Okay, yeah, that was way before my time, so I didn't know that. But yeah, so yeah, it was those 5.
First ever Canuck captain, Orland Kurtenbach.
But yeah, it's funny because you got all these famous captains from the team, and then people start posting it in the comments or, oh, where's Luongo or whatever. I saw even somebody did like a troll and did like a Mark Messier.
Yeah, that one doesn't need to be in there. I think Canuck fans want to forget about that whole era when Mike Keane was here and Mark Messier was here, because it absolutely destroyed the team.
Oh, but yeah, I just absolutely loved it because it's like I zoomed out on the photo and it's like him in a Canuck jersey and a pair of jeans or something. Like it wasn't even a great photo of him, but yeah,
it actually suited the picture though. And he had the C on his jersey and everything. So.
But yeah, it's just perfect Luongo humor. I just love how he's able to like poke fun and just like in the perfect way or whatever to get everybody give everybody a good chuckle.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into rapid fire. This is where I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I know you're totally unprepared for this, so Who plays more games this year, Barchi or Erickson?
Oh, I'm hoping it's Berchi, because I think as soon as everybody's healthy, especially Mott, I think Erickson comes out of the lineup. I would think, unless there's like some issue with Jake Vertanen or something like that. Because I think Berchi will be up here sooner rather than later.
I think he'll be the first call up as well.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Berchi in all hopes that Erickson can somehow stay out of the lineup, especially after that preseason. Oh my god, I don't even know he played any preseason games.
Well, he played so many preseason games that they spelled his name wrong on the mock roster today. I saw they spelled it with a C rather than a K. Outside of that, let's go. How many games does it take until Gaudette's a full-time center on this team this year?
Oh boy! Well, I think it all depends on when Sutter goes down with injury, which could be at any time.
My guess was 20 to 25.
I
figured that's about when Sutter will get hurt.
I would go around that same mark. Especially, I'm already disappointed that he's not in game one, especially after the preseason. Especially and with the type of player that he is, it's just like if he's not to be playing in the lineup, you might as well just send him down to Utica, because there's no point having him with the team if you're not going to play him, especially with the guy that's still developing that.
Travis did say he would probably. It looked like he'd be getting in on Saturday against Calgary. Who scores more goals, Brock or Petey?
Oof. See, that's the toughest one. For me, I would go with Brock. I'm pretty sure. If he's healthy, because that's the thing. Both of the seasons he's played, he probably would have been around the 35 goal mark if he's been healthy. So I'm hoping for a good full season and around the 35 to 40 goal mark. Though I won't be surprised if Patterson's right in behind there. But I'll go with Brock.
More face-offs, Horvat or Miller?
Oh, Horvat for sure. I think like Horvat, he led the NHL in faceoffs last year mostly because of injuries, but he took over 2,000 faceoffs last year, which
it looks like he's only going to take the ones on his backhand this year, and Miller will take all the forehand ones.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah,
and
because
the power play ones. So
yeah. If for any of you guys that are just hearing this for the first time, watch Miller on the offside,
the right side of the ice.
Yeah, on the weak side. He's got like a forehand face-off that he's mastered, and it's something that I've keyed in watching through the preseason, and he's actually really good on his offside there. So, but yeah, this is something to keep an eye on. Like Horvat will take it on the left side, and Miller will take it on the right side, especially on the power play. I think he'll be the main face-off.
I think Miller's the only face-off man on the power play, unless Levo's gonna. Well, I guess Pettersson or Levo could step in if he gets waved out of the draw.
Yeah, but Pettersson, that'll be one thing that you'll have to improve, because I think he was around 43% or something like that last season. But when you got like Horvat and Beagle on the team as well, you got your two strong centermen.
Well, I don't see Beagle out there during the power play anytime soon.
Yeah.
So. More fights, Ferland or Ben?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Ferland. I think, especially playing alongside Patterson and Brock, if anybody touches those guys, he'll be right there to make sure nobody takes advantage of them. Like, especially like we saw the few times last year, like of course the Matheson incident, and then eventually, finally, in the Tampa Bay game last year, the guys started to retaliate. I forget if that was after Patterson or Brock or I think it was another run at Patterson by that Danik Martel, and then he had the Stetcher hit as well in that same game as well. So I'm hoping there's more emotion, especially with guys like Ben and Ferland, that we won't have to worry about any of those instances. But the thing is, we had the one where Brock got hit from behind, and preseason nobody really did anything. But
Ferland unfortunately wasn't dressed that game, right? So I'm curious to see what he does if somebody does take advantage of Petey or Brock. But on to the goalies now. Better save percentage, Demko or Markstrom?
Ooh, man, I'm hoping Markstrom can pull it through, especially if he can go from December onwards from where he played last year. There's a lot of hope that he can be a true number one goalie this year. But the thing is, he is playing more games, so I could see Demko having a higher save percentage than Markstrom, but it sort of depends on how he goes, because like if you take how he started off last year where he was this awful, his save percentage was below were just right at 900 to start the season for the first couple of months, and then eventually got up to like 912 by the end of the season. So as long as he gets consistency, I'll still go with Demko with a higher save percentage, I'm going to say. But if Markstrom can be around that 920 save percentage the way that he was from December onwards, this all really depends on how Markstrom plays, I'm guessing. So, but it's a big contract year for him too. So I won't be surprised if he has a career season this year.
Second to last question. More likely that Markstrom will win 30 games or Demko will win 12 games?
Oof. I think Markstrom getting 30 will be more likely, I'll say, because I'm not sure how many games Demko's going to get in this year. Because if you go with all the back-to-backs and whatever, you get around the 20 game mark. But I think you want him to have around like 25, 30 games just for developmental reasons with him as well. Because I'm hoping he turns into the number one goalie. I'm totally sorry about my voice if you guys have noticed. I'm dealing with a bit of a cold, so I got some. But yeah.
And then, no, actually, I have two more. Who chews more pieces of gum, Travis Green or Neil Brown?
Oh man, I'll go with Neil Brown. I think I noticed him a little more than Green. But yeah.
What are the odds Jim Benning gets fired this season?
Oh, well, I would have hoped he gets fired sooner than later. I'm not a big Jim Benning fan, but I think if he does get fired, it'll be at the end of the season, even though he got that big contract extension with the Canucks. But I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, I think there's a high chance that the Goalies do move on, because I think they've actually been more patient with him than they have with other GMs when things have started to turn.
If they don't make the playoffs this year, they get their first-round draft pick next year still. So.
Yeah, which I'll be happy, because I think one more first-round pick will really help, because I don't think they're gonna make a whole lot of noise this year if they do make the playoffs. I think the opposite. If they're healthy and they make the playoffs, I've always said this: any team that makes the playoffs has an opportunity to win. And I think adding the pieces they added are guys that can play in the playoffs the right way. With everything that happens. But hey, 82-game season, everything starts tonight. It's a long year, and we know this team gets injured lots. Why don't you end us with the final words for our first episode of Canucks hockey this year? All right, yeah. So regular season starts today. There's 4 games on tap, as you brought up earlier. Toronto and Ottawa will be playing right now, and we got the Stanley Cup champions, the St. Louis Blues, taking on the Washington Capitals in their banner night. And then in the late games, we got the Canucks taking on the Oilers, and the Sharks taking on the Golden Knights, which will
White night in Vegas tonight.
Oh yeah, it only sucks that Evander Kane's suspended, so you don't get that same.
I want to see Kane and Ryan Reeves play each other. That chirping has been going on for quite a while. But hey, this is a Canucks hockey. Just update everyone, by the way. It's 1-0 Ottawa right now. A little over halfway through the first period, it looks like. And I told you, I had a feeling Ottawa might win tonight. Toronto, for some reason, gets off to a slow start every year. But remember to like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook or YouTube, B&B Hockey Talk. I'm Aaron. He's Matt. Thanks again for joining us. We're going to be back every Wednesday for Canucks Talk on this show. And then we have our Everything Around the NHL, or Everything Hockey, on Mondays and Fridays. So you can follow us then. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to many more episodes. Thanks again.